sorry.
The following story shows how the mental health system in Missouri was easily manipulated into imprisoning an innocent human being, me. On March 15th of 2010, I was imprisoned for 5 days of my life. I was stripped of all my clothes, my dignity, and my rights as a human being. I was humiliated, belittled, denied of any of my normal meds for days, and treated as though I was mentally disordered. The hospital filed all the paperwork on me as if I was there voluntarily.
You can wait till it gets to the middle of the screen before you start thinking.
Why would they do this? By claiming me as a voluntary patient, the hospital could then ignore state laws which are mandatory with any and all involuntary psychiatric admissions. These laws were designed to protect patients, such as myself, from being committed against their will accidentally. The acts that the hospital committed that violated the state statutes are: first, they never showed me the police officer's admission for treatment form that he supposedly left the ER staff upon dropping me off. Second, the hospital never showed me either of the affidavits that supported the officer's sworn statement. Third, I was never given the name or phone number of the attorney that was legally supposed to be representing me from the moment I was admitted. When the hospital falsified my paperwork stating that I was there on a voluntary basis, they were guilty of gross negligence. This resulted in my false imprisonment in violation of my basic civil rights as well. Oh, by the way, I am a college graduate as well as a registered nurse in the state of Missouri. If this can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, and I'm dead serious. Check this out. After several requests for my medical records, the following paperwork magically appeared. This is the affidavit that was filled out by my aunt, Karen B. In the matter of Briana, respondent, a person alleged to be mentally disordered, Karen B. hereby affirms an oath as follows. Arrived at my sister's home, Susan, to assist my niece with going to North for evaluation of mental and drug abuse related issues, as planned previous afternoon. She refused to go, stating it would not do any good, and that she didn't care anymore if she lived. First stated, quote, I will just take a bottle of extra strength Tylenol, fall asleep, and die. I then called my husband Dan to come help me transport her to hospital. Second stated, she wanted her mom and dad to have to clean up a mess and would get a shotgun and, quote, blow my head off, unquote. I then asked, what about your dog, Bubba? And she stated he would go with her. I clarified with her that she meant she would kill him also, in which she replied yes during Dan and my conversation with her. Dan videotaped her responses. We then called 911 for assistance. This has been ongoing, on and off, for years and has escalated more and more each time. Now here is my uncle's version of the events. See if you can spot the obvious lie between their two bullshit stories.
In the matter of Briana Madison, respondent, a person alleged to be mentally disordered, Dan Beagle hereby affirms an oath as follows. I heard the above respondent, Briana, talk about needing pills so that she could off herself. After she explained it needed to be extra strength Tylenol because the normal Tylenol wouldn't work, I was really concerned because she said she had already researched it. She then concluded that she just needed a shotgun so that her parents would have to clean up the mess. I was able to record some of it on my phone so that we would have a little proof of her saying it, because she said that even if we took her to get help, she would be out of treatment really quick, because she knew just how to work the system, that she had already done it before. This is not the first incident that we are aware of. Dan.
Now the next document is the one document that grants an officer the power to take someone's freedom away from without them committing any sort of crime.
Okay.
In the state of Missouri, state laws require the officer to do a thorough investigation. All parties must be talked to. The officer then makes a professional decision based on several factors, including the investigation. All of the details that were witnessed by the officer or learned through talking with all parties involved at the scene are to be well documented in the officer's admission request form that later is presented to the ER of the designated hospital. The officer must find two things to be true about the respondent. 1. The respondent is mentally disordered. 2. The respondent does pose an imminent harm to themselves or to someone else. Both factors must be present. The officer's admission request must also include affidavits of anyone that was a factor in the decision made by the officer. Check out this officer's pathetic admission request.
This is the application for admission to Cox Road, a mental health facility. The applicant is a police officer who may complete the application under section 305.4. The applicant herein states that he has reason to believe that the respondent, Briana, age 28, who resides at East Apartment B, 807, is mentally disordered, as defined by law, and presents an imminent likelihood of serious physical harm to herself or others, and thus is in need of detention, evaluation, and treatment in a mental health facility. Such belief is based upon the facts which have been derived from the applicant's personal observations and or investigations. 1. The facts that support the applicant's belief that the respondent is mentally disordered are statements made to aunt and uncle. 2. The facts that support the applicant's belief that the respondent presents an imminent likelihood of serious physical harm are respondent made threats to kill herself to her aunt and uncle. Threats were made at parents' house, Street, 625. Attached hereto and incorporated herein are the names and addresses of other persons known to the applicant to have personal knowledge of said facts. Wherefore, the applicant requests the mental health facility to admit Briana for detention, evaluation, and treatment for a period not to exceed 96 hours pursuant to Chapter 630.
This shows just how badly the system is broken down when it comes to our Department of Mental Health. Giving the police authority to take people into custody based off their own opinion of the situation leaves room for these horrible injustices to possibly take place. Involuntarily committing people to mental hospitals should always be the last step ever to be considered. My story is a perfect example. The shady practices the hospital used during my 5 days in their care should have never been allowed to happen to begin with. If the officers in charge of taking me in for the psych evaluation would have even come close to doing their sworn duties, let alone cuffed for 4.5 hours and taken 90 miles away to a psychiatric hospital. If the officers would have asked me any questions at all, it would have been very obvious that the whole story was a lie and I never was suicidal. The worst part is that the chief of police of the hometown I was taken from was right there the whole time watching it happen and directing her deputy to do what he did. I feel that the police chief is the most liable. Let me know any opinions that you may have, please.